Well friends, we have made it yet again to what I consider the best time of year for a fiber enthusiast. As we see the first signs of fall with the leaves changing in cooler weather, it is the best time to start planning for the coming autumn. Today I will be sharing all of my fall making plans from knitting to spinning, sewing, and weaving. Whether you're looking for inspiration for your own craft or just love watching the process, I've got something for you. I suppose I'll start with the knitting plans because, well, that is just the coziest. And these are some plans that I've had in the works even since last fall. A lot of them are going to be using my own hand spun yarn, and that's kind of the reason why it has taken this long for me to finally cast on because, well, I had to spin the yarn first. So we'll just walk right through all of it. I think I'll start with the Traveler, and originally my plan was to knit the Traveler hoodie, and then I started getting a little nervous, like maybe I wouldn't have enough yardage for the hoodie, so then I changed my plans to maybe knit the crew. And once I finally had everything all spun up, I realized I didn't even have enough for the crew neck sweater. Here's what I have spun up. I have 5 skeins here in a skein, and then I have one that's caked up as well. I came out with 945 yards, and to knit the crew neck, I needed 1,700 yards. I actually don't even think I have enough yarn to knit the larger Traveler shawl, which I'm going to do instead. And I don't really want to knit the smaller one because I have found that I just don't like shawls that are too small. I want them, the bigger the better, so they're not falling off my shoulders and I don't have to fidget with them at all. But Marlene, with Marlene's Making Podcast, generously said that she would share her notes with me because she also made the Traveler shawl a bit shorter, I think, in the larger version. This fiber is from Emily C Gilles, and it is 100% Norwegian luster wool in the colorway Mineral. Now, as I come to think about it, it's probably like a blessing in disguise that I'm knitting a shawl instead of the sweater because this fiber is so itchy. And I feel like I generally have a good tolerance for itchy wool, but this one, even as I put it up to my neck, it's just already prickling it. And so if I were to be wearing a hoodie in this type of yarn, I think I might have a bad day that day. Being that I'm going to be knitting a shawl, it's going to be much better because I'm obviously going to be wearing a shirt of some kind, likely a long sleeve shirt as well. So this would just add warmth without the itchiness to it. I did swatch it up and I am loving the fabric that came out. Here it is, all swatched up. I didn't cut the sides yet of the swatch because I may need to rip into this to use the yardage of this to finish making the shawl. I think this is going to be such a great fall staples. The color is right up my alley and I'm just really into shawls ever since I started knitting. I think they just add like a really artistic, organic layering piece to an outfit. The next project I have planned is another one using my hand spun and another Andrea Mowry pattern. Casey from Young Folks Knits announced that she's going to be hosting the Mosaic Mayhem knit along that starts September 1st and runs through December something. I can't really remember. And it was not the motivation I needed to cast this on because I am definitely motivated for this, but it's like kind of the permission that I gave myself to finally cast this project on because again, it's something that I have been preparing for since January. I will be knitting the totally tessellated cardigan. The yarn that I spun up is the first yarn that I spun on my supported spindles, and I got 3 skeins out of it here. The fiber that I used was from Lavender Lune's monthly fiber subscription, and I know that it was January, February, and March. They all just worked really well together. And one thing that I wanted to get away from is it's very red, white, and blue in the colorway, but there is a little bit of this camel color, and I really wanted to bring out the camel color and have it be a lot more fall leaning. So the yarns that I am pairing it with is both from Sonder Yarn Co. This is a brand that I haven't knit with before, but I just love seeing what everybody else produces with it. So of course I had to try it out for myself. So for the main yarn that I'll be using is the Sunday Morning Luxe Sport. And this is 65% BFL, 25% Mossum, and 10% cashmere. So it sounds luxurious and it feels really nice on the neck. The colorway that I am using is Full English. And then the fuzzy yarn that I'm pairing it with is also from Sonder Yarn Co. It's their Halo, which is 72% mohair and 28% silk. Here it is, and the colorway is Horsetail. I thought this combined with this with the hand spun is giving just exactly what I envision fall to be with these three colors. I'm really excited for this one. So I haven't had a chance to swatch this one up yet, but I think I may start swatching tonight actually, just so I can be all ready for when the cal starts on the 1st, which is just in a few days for me. It may have already started by the time this video goes out. Yeah, I'm really excited for this one. I knit the Tessellated pullover last fall, and I am fully aware of how long it takes to knit it. But I'm really excited because Marlene from Marlene Makes is also knitting this Tessellated cardigan. So it feels like we're having a little cal within a cal. And yeah, the colors she chose is really pretty, and she already got started on hers, and so now I need to catch up. This next project I showed on my last Fiber Stories episode, but in case you missed it, I just wanted to talk about this pattern again. And it is another one using my own hand spun yarn, so I'll go ahead and show you this right here. This is the Mega Hank that I spun up, and I'll be getting 3 more of these out of the fiber that I have, so I'll have a total of 4. I am not concerned about yardage lengths for this, especially for what I want to knit it with. And the fiber is from Och Eir. I spun it up last winter when they had their first drop after the new year, and I'm using 3 different colorways in this 3-ply yarn. It came out to be like a worsted to Aran weight yarn, so of course that's what I searched for when I went through Ravelry. I have landed on the Haraboji cardigan by Aegyo Knits. This cardigan just has lovely texture to it, and I like how it gives more of a jacket feel than just a cardigan. I think it's going to make an excellent layering piece, especially in a more neutral color. I tend to not knit a ton with neutral colors, but it is something that I often wear, and it pairs well with something that has a bit more color in it. So I have to make sure that I still knit neutral color things too, because they're very useful, especially as a layering piece. I've noticed this year that I've been knitting up a ton of cardigans, or at least planning to knit a ton of cardigans, and I haven't really knit any for myself. I knit Mitch a cardigan last winter, and yeah, none for myself, and I absolutely love wearing them because it's just such an easy way to add layers to an outfit. So I am very much looking forward to this knit. Hopefully I will get around to it and finish it this fall, but already I have quite big plans ahead of me, so we'll see how far I get. The nice thing with this color though is it's a color that works all year round. I know this would be a piece that I'm super excited for in the new year, or even in like a cold spring as well. It won't I won't get uninspired from it. These other colors I tend to only really gravitate towards in the fall time, so that's kind of why I'm prioritizing those projects first, and then if this comes later, that's totally okay. If I happen to surprise myself by knitting up all of these projects in a decent amount of time, or if I just get the crazy cast on energy, I have a fourth plan that would be really awesome to have as a sweater this fall and winter, but we'll see. It might be another year before I can get around to it. And it is using these two yarns that I hand dyed with natural dye pigments about 1.5 years ago. This one I used Madder and Kutch, and this one I used Sequoia to dye it. And I think the colors together are really pretty. And the sweater that I want to knit with it is the Alder sweater by Crayabea. I took a lot of inspiration from the sample colors that she used. This is almost exactly the same colors. This is just maybe a little bit more browny than lighty pinky that she used as the accent color, but I think this would make a really pretty lower contrast sweater in that beautiful texture. And this is a sweater pattern that I bought, I think, last January, and I was going to knit like a springy color version of it, but I think part of the reason why I love this sweater so much is that color palette that she used in it. Just made a gorgeous sweater. So I want something very similar as well. But again, if I don't get around to this fall, I'm sure I will still be wanting the pattern next year. So maybe it'll be yet another year before I get to it. But I really, really want to start knitting with this hand-dyed yarn that I've had in stash for a while now. Every autumn, I always get the urge to upgrade my wardrobe. The easiest and sometimes most affordable way is to get a new piece or two of jewelry. These past few years, I have made it a goal to acquire more quality pieces of jewelry instead of quantity. One of the brands I love is Ana Luisa. Ana Luisa makes unmatched quality pieces of jewelry that have been rigorously strength and humidity tested. They are long-lasting, tarnish-resistant essentials you can feel good about wearing. The best part is they fit into my fall wardrobe upgrade budget with designs starting at just $39. If you live in the US, they offer free shipping and with very affordable prices worldwide. I personally have never purchased any piece of jewelry with a warranty, so upon discovering they offer a 2-year warranty on all of their products, it showed me that they really believe in their quality. I decided to add the Alessia gold huggy earrings and the pebble gold pendant necklace to my collection. I think they look super cute worn together or even on their own. You can shop Ana Luisa through my link below in the description box to also find your own special piece for this fall. Thank you, Ana Luisa, for sponsoring this video. As you can probably tell of late, I've been extremely inspired by my own hand-spun yarn and how I can use it in my knitting. So it wouldn't be a fall making plan without including some spinning plans as well. So I have 2 potential ideas that I want to spin up. A lot of times I will just buy a braid because it's beautiful or because I want to make a certain pattern and then I spin something for that specific pattern, or because I have an idea to just make some beautiful yarn itself with no plan at all. So that's kind of the case with what I have. I'll start with the one that I think I have a general plan for, but again, that could completely change because that's just kind of how my brain works. So Antonella from Cozy Posy Yarn Co., she also is in our spinning group that we have online, reached out to me and said that she had some gorgeous brown fiber that she just got back from the mill and wanted to send some to me to share. And this is that lovely fiber right here. This is about 8 ounces of fiber, and it really worked out well because last spring when I went to the Minnesota Fiber Festival, I always call it Minnesota Sheep and Wool because I think I get it confused with Rhinebeck. It's the big fiber festival in Minnesota that happens on the Washington County Fairgrounds. I went to it and I bought a lot of fiber. I bought these 2 braids right here, once again, not because I knew exactly what I was going to make with it, but because I just absolutely loved these colors and I liked how they played together. And this fiber is from Seattle Sky Dyeworks. I believe she's based in Washington. The wool itself is from Pacific Northwest Women of Wool. So it's dyed by Seattle Dyeworks. This color here is puppy dog eyes. And then this color here is Covet. And my plan currently is to spin this all up and apply each colorway with the brown fiber. So this would be a colorway and this would be a colorway. I really like combining a color changing yarn, or just one that's really special, or fiber I should say, with other special yarn, because when you apply 2 together you get twice as much yardage out of it than if you were to just apply 2 singles of this together. And I always want to extend as much yardage as I can get out of all the fiber that I spin. Being that these will each be their own skein, I want to use them all in a pattern together that will complement each other very well. And I already have that pattern chosen. I have decided to make the Vice Versa Shawl by Bridget Zhou of BZB Knits. This is a shawl that I've seen so many beautiful patterns and samples of. I think she designed it for Flock Fiber Festival possibly, but yeah, it's a brioche shawl that kind of reverses its colors halfway through, and I think it just is a beautiful pattern to highlight hand-spun yarn. I think brioche in general is a great way to highlight hand-spun yarn because you can do your hand-spun kind of in the foreground, and maybe if you need to buy commercial yarn, have that in the background or whatever. But I think this all together would make a beautiful, low contrast, lovely version of it, and I'm really excited to see how these spin up and how it works potentially in that pattern. The fiber that I'm going to show you next is more fiber that I bought at that Minnesota Sheep and Wool Festival, and it is this right here, which is from 316 Dye Studio. And the colorway of this one is Cinder and Smoke, which I think is just such a fall name, and these are very fall colors. As I'm looking around at all of the fiber and the yarn that I have to knit already, they're all really leaning towards this color, so I think this really represents who I am in a color, maybe. But yeah, anyways, this was another case of buying it because it's pretty and not because I had any plans with it yet. I bought the last 3 braids that they had at the festival, and I know for sure that I want to make some kind of sweater out of it. So I think again, I would have to ply it with something else to get a lot more yardage out of it. And I'm kind of thinking of doing a 3-ply combo spin with other braids that are similar to this in color. So I may even check out their website and see if there are other braids that would work well with this and kind of come up with a plan for that. But I know that I probably would want to knit like a basic style sweater out of this to really highlight how beautiful the yarn is. It's been what feels like a while since I have sewn any garments for myself, so the fabric has started to pile up a little bit and I need to get moving on it. I am very fortunate and have a very beautiful pile right here of lovely fall fabric that I have some defined plans for, and then some are a little bit out in the open. So I'm just going to walk you through each piece of fabric that I have and what I think I will sew out of it. The first one being one that was sent to me from one of you lovely viewers. They were cleaning out some fabric, I think from their mother's house, and sent me a lot. And a lot of it was in gorgeous fall colors and materials like wool and thick cottons, and now it's the time to finally get to sew with it. And this first one just really screams fall, and it's this beautiful houndstooth pattern right here. And immediately I decided that I want to make a long flowy skirt out of it. I've been really into long skirts lately. I just like the way they feel on me, and sometimes it's a nice way to switch it up from pants. I'm not going to explain why I love a skirt. Most of us here probably love a skirt. And I think I already have a skirt pattern picked out for this one. This is a pattern that I purchased last winter because I had plans to make it with a different fabric, but just never got around to it. And that is the Hormonic set top and skirt from pattern Fantastique. And I'm going to make the skirt version of it, I think, without this little color blocking piece at the bottom. They show it without that piece as well, and that's the one that I'm going to do. I think this is going to be the perfect skirt for me. It's nice and long, which I like to wear with like boots and cute socks. And I really like that the waistband is elastic as well. It does show what looks like 3 layers of elastic. I might eliminate the third bottom layer and just do the top 2 with elastic because I don't want too thick of elastic around my waist. I think it just won't fit my body shape the way that I want it to. So yes, that is the plan for the houndstooth fabric. And then I have this fabric here, which I got from Linen Lab. And I used the green and dark green striped of this same fabric when I made the Madswick blouse, and I bought this as well with the intention to make a more neutral version of that blouse, and that is still my plan. I've been getting so much use out of that particular blouse, so it'll be nice to have it in a more neutral color as well. After I purchased this fabric from the Linen Lab, I did become an affiliate of the Linen Lab, and they sent me this black fabric, linen fabric, along with some others that I ordered, and it really got me thinking. I haven't sewn anything black, I think, ever. I know a lot of us don't like to knit with black because it's just next to impossible to see what you're knitting, but sewing, I think, will be a little bit easier than knitting with black. And I envision sewing a nice black dress. I don't really have a lot of black dresses, and I think it's just something that would look really nice for the fall when I'm feeling like a little bit more witchy. And I don't have a pattern for it yet, but there's a few that I have in mind that I think would work really nice for this particular fabric. Staying on the Linen Lab train, I also purchased this linen from them, which is just this beautiful plaid fabric in multicolor stripes. My plan for this fabric is to make the Dolly dress by Small Museum in collaboration with Jessalus Closet. And I know that the style of this dress is a bit more summer-like, and this happens every year. Like, I get in the fall mood and I'm ready to wear all of my fall clothing, and then it's just like 90 degrees in September and I'm just so hot. So I thought if I sewed a fall-like dress in a fall pattern, especially one that's linen, I could have the fall vibes even if it's really warm outside, And it still would be an easy dress to add layers to, like a turtleneck underneath and tights, and add boots, and there you go, you have a fall dress. But yeah, this is my next plan in queue, I think, of everything that I plan to make. The final piece of fabric that I have here is a little bit of a backstory to it. So my partner Mitch, he's a big cyclist, and he went on this big backpacking trip in the North Shore of Minnesota, and he didn't pack very well and got a little too cold and had to buy himself a wool blanket. And it's a very like utility looking blanket. It's definitely not something that we would really have as like a decor piece or something in the house. And he basically gave it to me because he didn't really have a use for it anymore. And he's like, do whatever you want with it. So I thought it would be kind of fun to make him something out of this fabric. So here is the fabric. It's like a tweedy wool in an army green, which I think just looks really nice on, well, both of us actually. And so he decided he really wants a vest, and he wants me to make myself a matching vest so we can match together with our vest. So I guess that's probably what I'm going to be making with this. And I think we have already decided which vest it is that I will be sewing. I want to make the Billy vest by Merchant and Mills. I think this is a really cool unisex looking pattern that I know myself I would be able to style a lot with, and I know Mitch would be able to style a lot with it as well. And yeah, I've actually highlighted this pattern a little over a year ago when I hosted the Vest Friends Mal, and so it'll be fun to finally get around to sewing up this particular vest. I've never actually sewn him anything before, so it'll be fun to give him a piece that I've sewn. I've knit him quite a few things at this point, but yeah, I haven't sewn anything yet. So between all of this fabric, I think that's going to keep me plenty busy through the fall. I have even more fall-like fabric, so if for whatever reason I get through all of this, I will be set on the other fabric that I have as well to make some really cool staple fall pieces. I know in the past I have sewn most of the garments in like the spring and summer, but not so much in the fall and winter. So it's going to be really nice to have these hand sewn pieces for this time of year coming up. Lately, I've been very inspired by all different types of textiles, specifically for the home. And ever since I finished my last weaving project, I kind of went over this big learning hump on how to read drafts. I am just uber excited to weave up all sorts of things for my home. If you're following me on Instagram, last week you may have seen that I underwent a very ambitious DIY project by reupholstering my sectional couch here behind me. I got this couch for free and from somebody that I know, and there were quite a few water stains on it, and my dogs also contributed to that as well, and the whole thing was falling apart. I love the shape of the couch. It's super comfortable, and I didn't want it to end up in a landfill by purchasing a new one. So that's why I decided to reupholster the whole thing. And I got the fabric from an online dead stock company called fabricguru.com, and I was able to order samples beforehand, so I knew exactly what I was buying, and I got all of the fabric I needed for this for $160, I think, and it was like 16 yards of high-end upholstery fabric, and it turned out very well, especially for not really having any experience of reupholstery. And yeah, I just kind of winged it. I had tips and advice from people that was very helpful. All that to say is now I need to weave new pillow covers for it. As you can see right back here, these pillows are fine, but they're very like spring summer color palette. And I think pillows are just such a great way to really bring out seasonal colors and patterns that you may want to have in the home without having to commit to it year round. So that's why I'm going to be weaving new pillow covers for these pillows back here. I ended up getting an account to handweaving.net, and they have thousands of draft weaving patterns, and so you can filter it down to what will work for your loom. And I have quite a few saved that I think would all make some beautiful pillow covers. And I also am planning to make these as gifts for the holidays coming up as well. I think weaving is really great for gift giving because yes, it does take time to set up the loom, but you can set it up to make like multiples of projects, or I don't know. Once you are doing the actual weaving of it, it kind of flies by. So I think it is less stressful to weave projects than say to knit them. And so, yeah, that's my plan. I already started weaving a new pillow cover last night, and I'm really liking the way that it's turning out. These patterns, they don't have names to them. They're just pattern draft numbers, and a lot of them are taken from books from like even the 1800s. There's patterns from. It's really a cool resource, this handweaving.net. So I'm very inspired by all of this, really excited to be making these pillow covers. And I also want to extend it to like blankets, wall hangings, pretty much everything that is a textile. I want to be handmade by me in my house. I have an even more ambitious project than reupholstering my couch, believe it or not, that I don't think I'm going to get around to anytime this year. This might be a 2025 plan, but my plan is we have this beautiful staircase in our living room, and it's just this dark, rich wood, and I absolutely love it. But there's carpet running down the stairs, which kind of dulls it down a bit. And I'm trying to bring character back into the house. It was a rental before we purchased it, so everything was like 10 layers of white paint on everything, and I just want to bring life back into the house again. And so I checked, and it is in fact the same hardwood under the carpet that runs down all of the stairs. So my brain is like, okay, let's tear up all the carpet, but I still want something soft and grippy because safety for Mitch and I walking up and down, but also my dogs like to run down as fast as humanly possible, and I don't want them to get hurt by slipping and falling. So I need some type of runner, and that's why I decided, what if I wove my own stair runner for this? Which again, I know is crazy, but why not? I mean, the table runner that I just made is almost the length of one section of these stairs. So I figured, like, I don't know, it wouldn't really take that long, I don't think, to make it. And I was kind of thinking of doing like a different pattern for each section of stairs. But again, this is a way further out project. It's not necessarily fall unless really something gets inside of me and tells me I need to make it. But yeah, just another weaving project that I'm really excited and looking forward to. I hope you have found some inspiration in what I'm making, especially if you're lacking some for this fall season. I also would love to know what you're planning on making this fall, because I like to get ideas from all of you as well. That's what this community is all about, is just sharing all of the things that we're making and inspired by and what makes us happy. So yeah, tell me below what you're going to be making this fall. If you like what you see here, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps my channel out. And if you're new here, welcome. Please consider subscribing and you won't miss out on any future content. In the meantime, I hope you are having a good rest of your summer, and fall will be here soon enough. Until then, I hope you have a good rest of your week, and we will chat next time.